Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word. I'm out here today. We're jumping into Judges. We're in chapter 3 of the book of Judges. And last time we met, we talked about Othniel. He was the first named judge. And now today we are talking about Ehud. Ehud was known as a man who was left-handed. And God uses anybody he wants to. Okay, even left-handed guys. Okay, which was kind of in that day, you had to be a right-handed soldier to be any good. But let's talk about Ehud. We're going to be reading today from Judges chapter 3, verses 12 through 30. Again, that's Judges 3, verses 12 through 30. It says this: Again, the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord, and because they did this evil, the Lord gave Eglon, king of Moab, power over Israel. Moab. You're going to find out a lot more about Moab, later on. We talked about it already. The book of Ruth. Ruth was from Moab, okay, one of the enemies of Israel. But Ehud is from Moab, and he's the king there. And we're in the cycle. Remember, we talked about the cycle of Judges, where they start out as they're following God, and then they decide to worship idols, and then God lets them be captured, be taken by the enemy. Okay? Verse 13. Getting the Ammonites and the Amalekites to join him, Eglon came and attacked Israel, and they took possession of the city of palms. The Israelites were subject to Eglon, king of Moab, for 18 years. Okay? It's a long time. That's about the age of my second son, Ethan. He's 18. Is he 18? Yes. No, he's 20. Anyway, so 18 years he was in captivity, or they were subject to them. Again, the Israelites cried out to the Lord. Okay, so they're going through the cycle, and they cry out to the Lord now. They're like tired of being captives there. And he gave them a deliverer, Ehud, a left-handed man, the son of Gera the Benjamite. The Israelites sent him with tribute to Eglon, king of the Moab. Now Ehud had made a double-edged sword about a cubit long, which he strapped to his right thigh under his clothing. Okay, a cubit long. Let me talk about that. He made a sword, and I have several swords here. Actually, they're machetes, they're not swords. So this one here is one that I use a lot, and it's a machete that I got in Haiti, actually. Let's see, is this about a cubit long? No, this is about 24 inches long, so this is too long. This is not, he would have used something smaller than this. And then I have my pocket knife, okay? Again, not 18 inches long, about 6 inches long. So this was too small. He didn't use something like this and go, I'm going to get you with my pocket knife. I happen to have another machete from Honduras, and this one here is 18 inches long. So this would have been more like what Ehud would have used. Ehud would have used this, and remember, he was left-handed, so I'm used to, when I'm swinging my machete around chopping stuff, I'm used to using my right hand. If I use my left hand, I'm like, acting all crazy because I'm not used to using this, and this is not my dominant hand, okay? But Ehud, his dominant hand was his left. So he took it, and you'd put it into your sheath, like right here, into your sheath on your right side, okay? This played an important part because when they came to check on you to see if you had any weapons, they would just feel on the left side because you're right-handed, you put your sword here. They wouldn't even bother checking the other side because what left-handed guy is going to come along here? But Ehud was left-handed, so he had that 18-inch dagger is what it's called, and he had that hidden away there, okay? Verse 17, he presented the tribute to Eglon, king of Moab, who was a very fat man. I like the way it's so clear. It's just he's a very fat man, and that's going to play into the story here. And they brought him tribute. That's all the money they owed him, and if you're raising 100 bushels of crops, you owed him 10 of those bushels or whatever. After Ehud had presented the tribute, he sent on their way those who had carried it. Okay, so he's all alone now. But on reaching the stone images near Gilgal, he himself went back to Eglon, And he said, "Your Majesty, I have a secret for you." The king said to his attendants, "Leave us." And they all left. Okay, so the king is thinking, he's thinking, oh, he's going to give me something special, maybe more food. Ehud then approached him while he was sitting alone in the upper room of his palace and said, "I have a message from God for you." Oh, I can't wait to see what this is. It's a message from God. As the king rose from his seat, Ehud reached, okay, that's my right hand. So he reached with his left hand, okay, and drew the sword from his right thigh and plunged it into the king's belly. All right. But so he plunges it in, as the sword here, plunges it into the king's belly, and as he's plunging it in, verse 22 says, "Even the handle sank in after the blade as his bowels discharged." Yuck. The handle sunk in too. He put it in there, and the guy was so fat, it just went all the way in. Yuck. Okay, and his bowels discharged. Oh, okay. Don't need to be any more graphic than that. Ehud did not pull the sword out, and the fat closed in over it. Okay, double yuck. Then Ehud went to the porch. He shut the doors of the upper room behind him and locked them. After he'd gone, the servants came and found the doors of the upper room locked. They said, he must be relieving himself in the inner room of the palace. Okay, either meaning he's taking a nap or he's using the bathroom. All right. They waited to the point of embarrassment, but when he did not open the doors of the room, they took a key and unlocked them. There they saw their Lord fallen to the floor dead. Okay. Verse 26, while they waited, Ehud got away. He passed by the stone images and escaped to Sharon. When he arrived there, he blew a trumpet in the hill country of Ephraim, and the Israelites went down with him from the hills, with him leading them. "Follow me," he ordered, "for the Lord has given Moab, your enemy, into your hands." So they followed him down and took possession of the fords of the Jordan that led to Moab, and they allowed no one to cross it. At that time they struck down about 10,000 Moabites, all vigorous and strong. Not one escaped. That day Moab was made subject to Israel, and the land had peace for 80 years. 80 years. Earlier in the story, Israel was subject to Moab, and they were paying tribute. Now it's reversed. Moab is subject to Israel, and they are paying tribute to Israel. Okay? And they had peace for 80 years. The big thing to see in the story is this, that God used a man that was left-handed, out of the ordinary, to do his will. So he will use you. You might think, I'm just an odd guy, I don't know how to do certain things, and I'm not skilled at this or whatever. But God will use you because it's God's power working through you. It's not your power, okay? So just remember that at our weakest is when God is the strongest. All right, thanks for watching. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word. Tomorrow we're going to go on to the third judge here. We'll see you then. Lord's blessing to you.